Hey Facebook, it's your girl Regina Lynette Brown from RLB Consulting Service. Let's rock out for a minute and let everybody get on. I'm going to play my girl Kelly Price, her single, It's My Time, because it's our season. Y'all jamming with me? Just wanted to get y'all hyped up for a minute. That's my girl Kelly Price. Love her, love the song, because when you know it's your season, it's your season. Hey cousins. And I just wanted to log on because I haven't logged on in about a month. Last time I logged on, it was really emotional. Hey Gawain. Because I was protesting and all of our spirits and our cups were overflowing. Hey, Miss Kavasha. And it was just very emotional. I didn't know I had so much in me about it, right? And so I said, well, let me log in and kind of talk to my people for a minute, because I needed a minute for myself to kind of collect myself and get back on point, right? So I had to kind of unplug. So that's why y'all haven't seen your girl. But life is good. I can't complain. God is good all the time. And so I wanted to chat it back up with you guys for a minute. Thanks for giving me some loves and some thumbs up. Because it's our time. It's our season. It is a new month. We got new beginnings coming up because it's a new month. It's a new day. What is August? August is the 8th month. 8 standing for new beginnings. Y'all better work it. What you waiting on? It's so much out here for us to conquer. It's the time. The time is now. Like, if you don't get it now, you won't ever really get it, because now everything is working in your favor. Now people are listening and some are responding, right? More than others than ever before. So this is our season, people. Let's get it. Let's make it work. Whatever that plan is, whatever that goal is, whatever you've been seeking and trying to do and you thought about it and you've been putting it off, don't do that no more to yourself. Take some time out for you. If you have to get up early in the day, before everybody else in your household wake up, get on up and get out there and get some pen and paper to that thought that you had, and start Googling what you need to do, the steps to get it done, because now is your time. So that was completely just off the cuff. So what I want to tell you guys about is the Black Lives Matters. Hey Mia, I since protesting, right? I haven't beat the street, as they call it. I haven't done that in a minute, because I actually been more involved in actually take some action. So I've been taking action at work and standing up and being a voice for our students and me and my other colleagues, right? And just voicing where we are and what we need and what our needs are, and hopes that they're actually hearing, since they're listening and asking. And in addition to that, I've been doing it across the country with my other fellow accounting faculty that teach accounting across the U.S. Hey, Nicole. So I've actually been putting my faith to work. So instead of just shouting about it as we marched, right, and standing up for it that way. In addition to that, now I'm actually having those conversations where hopefully real change is taking place. And I can honestly say, for the people that have been involved in the conversations that I've been having, they seem to be really genuine. And I believe there is a change on the horizon. I'm just going to be very optimistic that all this is not for a show, right? And that hearts are actually changing, and actually people are actually being sincere, hey Sanai, about Black lives actually mattering. Like, who would have thought a day would come where they actually hear you, right? They know, they see it. It's an everyday thing. But now they're actually like doing something about it. Let's just keep praying. Let's keep pushing. If protesting is your thing, going out there and beat them streets and make it happen. But more importantly, I want you guys to voice your opinion where it matters, where someone is listening and that can actually do something about it, right? In addition to that, we have to vote. Now, everybody has their different opinions about voting, but I can honestly say we wouldn't even be having this conversation if groups like today that are out there protesting now didn't protest back in the day before we were even born for our right to vote. People actually gave up their lives for us to even have the right to vote. So why not exercise the right that we have? Whether you like the candidate or not, it's still, you got to say something through your vote. So let's just get out there and vote. And let's teach our young people to do that as well. So that's what I want to say about Black Lives Matter. Looking at my list. So last weekend, I actually just gave you a little spill on that. I was invited to participate in Fulfilling Purpose, which was a women's workshop hosted by a colleague of mine named Miss Tanya Finley. And there were three speakers, and we talked on pursuit, passion, and purpose. And it was phenomenal. And so I was honored to be able to talk about passion, because you guys know I have a passion for what I'm doing now. But my original passion was teaching, right? Because that's something I grew up doing, never really realizing it was a career I should have followed in the first place. But God works everything out in time and in season. And it happens like it was, like I never missed a day teaching when I fell into that purpose. And so I still love teaching. And I think these are even teachable moments where I'm actually sharing the things that I've learned, because that's really all teaching is you're sharing what you learn. And so I was able to share with these ladies just how I kind of stumbled upon that path and how that path is evolving to these conversations, to my book, and even into these conversations that I'm having with my fellow faculty members, right? So it's been a great journey. So don't put your passion off. Like I said when we started this conversation, if it's something that's been on your mind and you see things, you see a color, somebody says a word, or you hear something on the radio and it reminds you that one thing that has been on your mind that you never did anything with, don't snooze on it. Now is the season to get it done. All you need to do is figure out the path, because all the details, God already gonna work that out. If you need money to do it, He already got somebody lined up to give it to you. All you got to do is have a great plan written out to give to them, or even just to be able to have that discussion with them, having all your I's dotted and T's crossed, because people don't throw money after bad ideas. They throw money after good ideas, and there are people willing to support you. So go ahead and work those ideas. Find your passion. Find what will make you get out of bed in the morning, will make you work long days and long hours without complaint. That's your passion. The things that you're doing right now for free, that you're not even thinking about, I can earn a living from this, or I can actually earn a side hustle from this, make it happen, because it's out there and it's possible. So I did want to encourage you guys to continue into that passion and don't let it go. Don't let life rob you of your joy of finding that one thing, or it could be multiple things that you just love to do. It's that hobby. It's that thing that people say, hey, you're really good at this. Have you ever thought about blah, blah, blah? Do that thing. Make it happen. This is your encouragement to go forth with that. I'm actually going to record myself saying, hey, Miss Linda, record the lesson that I taught them that day. I'm actually going to record that for you guys and post it on my YouTube page and share the link with you. Hey, cousin. And so, yes, I do want to encourage you to follow your paths. Don't let any stumbling block, any distraction, because the enemy is very, very, very busy and very cunning. So, you know, stay ahead of it by staying focused on what's for you, because what God has for you is what? It's for you. There's room for everybody's gift. You don't have to worry about bumping into nobody. You don't have to worry about it not being enough. It is. It's plenty. All you got to do is just follow the right path. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was this complete self-renewal kick I've been on. It's been awesome. I feel really great today. And let me share why I feel great today. I have been in a slump in the month of July because literally I'm normally off in the summer. I normally have at least a month out of the summer, maybe a little bit longer, a month and a half, to renew myself, to actually go on vacation and hang out with family and friends and like completely unplug and not have to work, right? And so it has been a challenge to be plugged in every day. Like I can't not read email. I can't not, log onto my work computer and actually I have stuff to do every day, and it's been crazy. So during the month of July, I was in a slump. So it started me to kind of bump up my self-renewal, my being more self-conscious of or consciously aware of my stress that I was feeling, my anxiety, because I wasn't able to take, vacation, right, or unplug. So I kind of amped up my self-care, my exercise and things like that, which totally benefited me. I'm 22 pounds down. Woo! So, that was completely unexpected. But what I wanted to say about this is that during that process, I just started looking at myself. So like the last video I did for y'all, second to last or something to that effect, I was looking at it and I looked at my stomach and I said, oh, is that my stomach? I said, oh, she ain't cute at all. So I'm gonna have to do something about this. And that was my motivation. Now, I am not the exercise chick. I hated gym. I would bring a note home for mom to sign, that mom signed every week to avoid working out in gym or playing in gym or whatever we did in gym. Because I don't like all that. But anywho, when I did not like how I looked, although other people, oh girl, you look fine. No, she ain't cute right there, right? I was like, I'm not going to sit up here and let this housebound situation add to my situation and that I didn't want, because then all of a sudden I'm gonna have to buy more clothes, and we still ain't going nowhere. And I was like, let me put this chocolate down, let me put these chips down. I completely went into self-sacrifice, self-denial, self-control on 10, where I didn't want to throw the chocolate away because it's still good chocolate, right? Who wants to throw chocolate away? But I just wasn't going to eat it. And so, it's very few places to hide stuff, right, in your kitchen. So I pushed it in the back until it didn't bother me anymore. So by the time I had eaten all the food in front of the chocolate and stuff, I didn't even want it anymore because I had created a habit of not eating it. And I felt great about myself that I can look at those Hershey chocolate bars as much as I love them, and they don't bother me anymore, right? And so when I realized that I had lost the weight, that was an even greater motivation for me, because then I was like, I don't eat those. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not eating after 5. And so it's just started this whole mindset that was different because I literally encouraged myself. So I'm sharing this because I want to encourage you, whatever your goals are, whatever you don't like about yourself or your situation, you can change it. But you got to practice self-control. Now that part is not easy. Tell you that. It's not easy, but you can do it. So I started doing things like, to compensate my sugar need or my carb need, I baked cookies, right? I baked some oatmeal cookies. And I started using almond flour. I had some from, December, and I was like, let me try this almond flour and see if it, if I could tell the difference. It was so much of a lighter, flavorful taste with my cookies because, of course, I put a few little chocolate chips in the oatmeal cookies just to give it a different taste. But it wasn't still as much sugar as I had been eating when I ate like the whole bar of Hershey's chocolate. So I still got my fix for my chocolate, but at the same time, I wasn't intaking as much sugar. So it just cut it down, right? And on top of that, I already eat pretty decently. So I just cut out all the extra stuff. So I stopped eating the fried chicken and the fried fish and anything fried, French fries, all that stuff. I stopped eating it. And I started eating more fruits and vegetables, which is what we're supposed to do. So it gave me so much energy. I couldn't believe it. And then I do have a 30-minute workout that I do in the morning. I'm either doing a workout or I'm doing yoga. So I'm either doing aerobics or I'm doing yoga in the morning. Sometimes I do yoga at night as well to stretch my muscles. Because at night, in the evening, because I've been sitting on my booty all day, right? And your booty start to spread. I got up and I walked. And I would walk anywhere from 3 to 5 miles, just depending on what time I actually left or how hot it was outside. And so the walking, before I knew it, it was a habit. It's like my body automatically knows it's time to get up, and we just get up and we go because it's time to move, right? Because during your work day, you're moving all the time. You're going up and down stairs, up and down the hallway, over here and over there. And then me teaching, I'm on my feet all day when I'm at work. Thank you, Linda. And so I wasn't doing all that because we're not at work. We're at home. So at home, you're usually chilling. You're not doing all this extra. So I added these things. I also added, I live on the 6th floor. So I added walking down the stairs instead of taking the elevator. So I take the stairs every day. Now, if I'm going to my car, that's 8 flights because I have to go down under the building. Okay. So, and I take them up and I take them down unless I'm carrying grocery or something to that effect. So, you have to find these little things or little ways to accomplish your goals within, our perimeters of what's going on. But all things are possible if you believe them. That's my whole point of telling you this. My eating habits now, like I'm totally not hungry. Every once in a while, I might get a hunger sigh or whatever after 5 o'clock. But most of the time I don't. And then when I try to cheat on the weekend after 7, I feel too full if I eat, later, whatever. And so I'm just sticking with it because I feel better. I feel healthier. I don't feel bloated. I don't feel gassy, all that extra crap that we normally feel because we eat too much and we eat the wrong things. So I just want to encourage you guys to do what's best for you. Now, why I feel so great today? Because I was in a slump the whole month of July, so I actually started sleeping in. Prior to July, I was getting up like I was going to work. I was getting up at 5 or 6 in the morning, doing my workout, having breakfast, and I had my regular day. Well, from the middle of June through July, I just started being in this slump, and I started waking up whenever I got up. So that would be anywhere from 8 to 10 a.m., and then I would work however many hours I need to work in between and kind of fit everything around that. Well, that created a different habit that I didn't want. So I was like, okay, Lord, I really want to flip it back around. I want to get back up at the crack of dawn again. Hey, Miss Bobby, because I felt better when I did that. So I was really proud of myself today when I got up at 5, I think it was about 5:15 when I actually woke up. And I had time to meditate before the noise of the world started, which is so much better than once everybody else is moving it up. I got a chance to do my yoga in peace. I got a chance to pray in peace. And then by the time I did all that, I felt great. And so I had breakfast early, so I was able to eat lunch earlier. So I'm not like as full because normally I'm trying to rush to get all my food in before 5 o'clock, my lunch, and I try to have fruit or something for dinner or something light. And so I didn't have to do that today. So I actually feel great. And it's just like, let me, I knew yesterday I was going to go live. Well, I knew I was going to go live the last few days. I just couldn't figure out what day. So I said Mindful Monday. That'd be a great day to help us to be mindful of our decisions so that we can encourage ourselves to accomplish whatever it is. And so the best is yet to come, because yesterday I started riding my bike again. So my bike has been sitting, before I moved, it was sitting in the garage collecting dust. Then it started sitting on the patio collecting everything from outside. And then I just decided one day, you know what? I'm just going to go see if this thing still works. So I got my friend to fix the tires and all that stuff. And I got on my bike yesterday. Now, the funny part about it is, they say you don't forget. But I was like, let me go over here in this open parking lot before I get into this bike lane and remember how to ride this bike, because I had forgot how to change the gears and all that stuff. But I actually had a great ride on yesterday. It was awesome. So now I get to mix up my routine between riding my bike and walking, and the aerobics and the yoga. And the yoga has been phenomenal, because the more yoga you do, the more yoga you want to do. And the more it centers you, it relaxes you when you have the tension in your neck from looking at your phone or your iPad or your computer all day. It releases all that. And if you have stuff on your mind between yoga and meditation, it just locks it up. So I want to encourage you to be mindful of the decisions that you're making, so that you can be your best self. And then when you're your best self, guess what? You can accomplish so much more, because you have the energy to do so. And you have the focus to do so. So when you're not overeating, when I made some stuffed peppers, because I never really liked stuffed peppers, because, I was just like, ew, what is that? Who's going to eat a green pepper? Now I'm making them all the time, at least once a week. Love them with brown rice and ground chicken, a healthier version of it, right? Not as much cheese, but enough to make it tasty. And so when I eat it and I just eat the one half, I'm good. I'm full. My intake is less because I'm eating better. So I feel better. So I want you guys to feel great. So I'm sharing this with you so that you can join me on this journey. Just to get yourself to where you need to be. And then the last thought I thought about sharing with you guys today was your circle of support. You have to know that part of this pandemic overflow or whatever from the pandemic is the sifting, right? I call it sifting of wheat. So, those people who are in your inner circle kind of sifted, they stayed in to the container, where everything else kind of sifted out, because they're sincere and they're actually there for you. They're the ones that's checked on you during the pandemic. They're the ones that reached out to you, saw if you needed something, or they found the toilet tissue before you found the toilet tissue, so they bought you some too. Those kind of ride or die friends. That's your support system, including your family. And so this season kind of teaches you, or taught me, who those people are that you can really count on when stuff happens, because life is such that change and things unexpected just happen all the time. So you have to prepare yourself. You have to brace yourself for it, because if you sit back and think about back in the day when we were kids and our parents and stuff, the things that they went through, we never really knew that they were going through stuff. We kind of had a clue, but we really didn't know, because they didn't show it, and they persevered through it, right? And they didn't stress out and lose it or whatever, They handled it well. I know my mom did. My mom handled her stress really well. She handles it well now if something is really bothering her. So you have to learn how to handle that. And how do you handle that is by taking care of yourself, getting enough rest, praying, right? Because we have to stay connected to the source of the one who gives us the strength to endure. And then, meditating so that you can really, really know that when something is going on, when you meditate in the morning and something happens in the afternoon, you can go right back mentally to the meditation, and you don't react like you used to react. You might even think it's humorous, whatever it was that happened, because you focused and you meditated on your source. And so you already know that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. You already know, and you remind yourself that I am more than a conqueror through Christ Jesus. You just remind yourself of those things because you've meditated on who you are, whose you are, and that you don't have to worry about anything because he's in control and you're not. And that all things, no matter how they look, end up working together for our good. Even the things that don't seem to work together for our good, right? So for those of you who read my book, Level Up, in it, I remember writing a little bit, or interlude, I guess you can call it, of when my brother transitioned, right? And got his wings. And so it was 3-month process. I'll just give you the long and short of it, of him being sick, in which we didn't even know that he was sick. So again, side note, that's why we gotta practice self-care and self-love. You gotta make the time to exercise your mind, body, and your soul. Because if you don't make the time, life will swiftly come up and catch you off guard and knock you off your feet. And before you know it, you'll be dealing with some health issue or mental issue or some issue that you can't just pray away. You got to go through, right? Which we're going to go through stuff anyway, but the things we can prevent, let's prevent, right? So anywho, so he went through his season of sickness, in which we thought, and from the outside looking in, it looked like he was doing well and everything. But then the closer he got to his birthday, which was, I understood just from listening to him talking from my prayers, that was also going to be the day he was being called home. His mind shifted. He stopped worrying about stuff. He started encouraging other people when the doctors and stuff came in to tell them there wasn't anything they can do about his situation. He already knew it, even though nobody had told him that. So that's how God does speak to us, and he gives us that peace that surpasses all understanding. And so he already knew. So when they came in, because a couple of the doctors came in tears, not wanting to tell him this, and they end up telling him this, and he ended up like drying their tears, comforting them, like, no, I know you did all you can do. It's not your fault. It's just my time, right? And so for him to recognize that, and nobody told him that it was his time, that was totally a God thing. And so with that being said, you have to be mindful of everything, because every day is a gift. And if we don't treat it as a gift, right, just like some gifts get taken away or they get lost or broken or whatever, that's just kind of how life happens. We get broken, we get lost, we get taken away. So we have to learn to embrace it and refocus on it. But in my book, I talked about how, after he passed, because he passed his birthday November 15th in 2016, a month after that, I was off work for Christmas break. And I hadn't really mourned his death because, I had to be focused and strong for him through his illness, right? So I had to be clear in my mind, in my head. I had to separate it because I had to understand what the doctor was saying. I had to understand his choices, his medicines, and just all that kind of stuff. So I couldn't, be emotional about it, right? So I had to suppress that. And God, nothing but God, helped me through that. So I was able to do that. But then the month after, Mom didn't want me to come home because I had been coming home every week the time during the 3 months that he was sick. So she was like, no, you need to stay and you need to rest or whatever. So I stayed in Dallas by myself. And I was sitting there just trying to wrap my head around it, and I cried a little bit. And then I laughed because I had the aha moment where I kept replaying, because at this time, this was during the time I was also just journaling a whole lot, which those of you that know me know I will journal my feelings. But I was journaling a whole lot during the 3-year period, and that was like in the middle of this. And so I was journaling or what have you, and I had the epiphany, the aha moment, where I kept hearing my brother say to whoever would listen, the doctors, the nurses, the whoever came in the room, this is my little sister. She live in Dallas. We had a great time when I went down there to visit. And he would tell each and every one something different that we did. We ate some fried pickles. We went to the aquarium. We did whatever we did. He couldn't wait to tell somebody new what we did. And then he would say, and I want to go again. That was the best time ever. And he just kept saying this over and over and over. And so then I had the epiphany, the aha moment that God allowed me to have a situation, because I, was in a situation, and I needed my big brother, right? I literally needed to be saved by my big brother. So he came, and he'd been down here before, but it was him and mom visiting for Christmas, but he had never been down here, just me and him kicking it. Like, if we hung out, because it was, 16 years between us. So if we hung out in Chicago when I went home. It wasn't that we hung out here because, this is just where I live. He wasn't coming down here to hang out with his little sister. So he came down to hang out with his little sister. And honestly, we had the best time ever, right? And I sat there and reminisced over our time, and then it clicked in my mind that he was saying this over and over in the hospital, and I knew that God purposed it, right? He purposed the time, and he allowed me to have a situation so that my big brother can come save me, right? And we spent the best 2 weeks ever, and then allowed him to go home. He got sick, of course, but then allowed us to get even closer, so that I was there for him when he needed me to be there for him. And hey Bree, and we bonded so that he trusted me through that whole process more than he ever did. Like, he didn't question anything, and we talked about everything. So it was during the time that we visited, we had conversations that we've never had in our whole life, right? And so it was just purposed. And so the aha moment came when I sat still. And then I was grateful for the season, because God didn't have to allow me to have a situation that I was completely overwhelmed with, right? In which I'm in my woe is me moment and needed my big brother, because we do go through these things, right? But he didn't have to allow me to go through that, and he definitely didn't have to allow him to come help me, but he did. And when he did it so that we can have that time together that can never be replaced, that I will cherish forever, and that I will tell each and every person that I know, cherish the times that you have right now. I know that everybody is at home for the most part, because some people are essential and some jobs have opened back up, but everybody's home. And so it's a little frustrating. It's a little crowded. It's a little all of this and that. But cherish it, because you won't get this time back again. And if you didn't cherish it up to this point and you were kind of frustrated, it's a new month. It's a new beginning. You can start again. And you can find some joy in this, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. And since we don't know what tomorrow holds, we know who holds it. We can actually enjoy today. And so, whatever has been stressing you, whatever has been weighing you down, change it today. Change it. You can do that. All you got to do is sit down and meditate and pray, and it will become clear. You open your heart and your mind, you can get clear instructions. And once you get those clear marching instructions and you actually start taking care of yourself, it's nothing impossible unto you. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So, and it will reveal so much about you, and it will reveal so much about life. Like, you put everything in perspective. It's so hilarious to me, because we being my job, which formerly was Dallas County Community College District, which we were 7 separate colleges, accredited colleges, that we are now one college with 7 campuses. So everybody's freaking out about everything and all the changes that's going on. I have questions. I'm not freaking out, but I have questions. And so, like we all do, you just kind of want to know, what do you need to do? And so, everybody's just all off on a tangent about it instead of being focused on A, we're still employed, the good things, right? B, we still get to work from home, another blessing. C, why are you putting all your eggs in one basket and worried about them? You need to be focused on what else God has for you to do, because God has more for each and every one of us than what we've been doing. If you have not been pouring into somebody else and helping them along their path, if you have not used whatever your gifts are, your talents are, your influences are, your connections, your resources, your time, if you're not using any of that to help somebody else, you're not walking in your purpose, because we are all purposed to help somebody else. And we were all given different gifts and different talents and different abilities and different financial statuses and different connections to help each other. So if your day-to-day does not include pouring out of yourself into somebody else's cup who is empty or half empty, then you need to sit down and meditate and figure out what your purpose is, because it's greater than you. And it's greater than the situation. It's greater than all of these colleges merging into one and, oh my God, what's going to happen to my norm? Oh my God, it's going to change. And guess what? That's cool, because roll with it. We don't own any of this. We can't take none of this with us. None of it. Crazy part is, for example, with my brother, same thing with my father. When my father died, we had to, eventually, Vincent moved out of his house because my brother lived with him, and he acquired everything that Dad had. So then when we ended up selling Dad's house and Vincent had to move, he couldn't take everything that we had of Dad's, or he had left of Dad's. He couldn't take it all with him. So he had to, give away some stuff, get rid of some stuff, put stuff in people's basements and houses or whatever. Then you turn around, now he acquired all this, and it was his season to go, right? And we end up having to do the same thing with his stuff, minus the things that, we kept. So you can't take it with you. There's no U-Haul behind a hearse. So why are we worried about the small stuff? All that small stuff. The one thing of you that lasts while you're gone physically, hey Carolyn, while you're not here physically and you're actually gone, the only thing that lasts about you here is the memory and how you made somebody feel, how you made somebody think, and what you poured out of yourself into them. That's the only thing that lasts of you. That's why your light still shines. And people say, I still hold them dear and I still feel them close, because they loved. That's all it boils down to. They love people, and they poured them. My mother, God bless her heart, loves everybody. Mama could be at the Home Depot or at Walmart, because Walmart is her favorite. I'm going to say Walmart. Mama could be at Walmart. She going to go look at the clearance section on the plants, right? And if she sees somebody over there that don't look like they know what they doing with plants and stuff, she going to go over there and tell them, baby, don't buy that and don't buy this. You can come by my house and get some of this and that out my yard, right? And don't even know these people. I'll be like, Mama, stop inviting them strangers to your house. Well, no, because she was going to pay so-and-so for whatever. Like, I don't know one plant from the other. I'm learning. It's not my thing. But she will tell a complete stranger, now, baby, let me teach you how to plant this, and let me teach you how to do, come on by my house, I'll give you a pinch of this and a pinch of that. And this how you do it. You put it down in your, and these same folks that actually took her up on coming to her house to get some plants still go by her house to talk to her, still call her years later, because she genuinely loves. So if you're not, if if you're not pouring into somebody else's life, you need to check your own posts because you're being selfish. We're not here to be selfish. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I was selfish in July. I ain't logged in. I ain't talked to y'all since what? End of May? Early June, if then? And I was burnt out. I mean, I was doing the Black Lives Matter protests. I started these Black Lives Matter conversations with black and white faculty. I've done, I think, 2 already, but the preparation for those calls, oh my goodness. And then I've done them at work. I've done 2 outside of work, and I've done several at work almost every week. And I just got exhausted because I never had a vacation. I never unplugged. I never stopped. And I got selfish and I completely unplugged. And I asked God, I'm like, forgive me for not pouring into the people and not saying anything because I can't pour from an empty cup. I got to replenish myself. So I'm sorry. I had to focus on me. And I know when it's my time to do that. And that's why I do escape during the summer. And that's why I do normally do those things to unplug, because then I have something to bring back to you. But since I've been walking in God's created world, right, and enjoying that, waking up to sunrises and enjoying that and embracing it and being grateful that I get to see one more sunny day, I can pour back into you now, right? I can give to you now because, you know, I'm not empty anymore. I woke up, I'm like, okay, it's August. Let me shake this off because I'm not going to get a real vacation. I might get an escape. You know, I escape across town all the time. I've been going to other areas of town to find a patio to eat on, just to be able to go somewhere and do something. Holla if you hear me. So, masked up and all, but you have to do something. And so the yoga and the aerobics exercises and the meditation and the praying and reading. Oh my God. So one of my goals was to read more so I can teach myself to read faster, because I'm such a thinker. I'm such a deep thinker that, you know, when I read something, I want to really understand what I'm reading. So I dissect it and I go in on it. And so starting school next month, classes again, I don't have time to do that because I'm gonna have to get these assignments done. So I wanted to retrain how I read. So I started reading different things, and oh my God, I've learned so much stuff, and it's so exciting. And so I wasn't just completely unplugged and not connected. I was really restoring in me what I needed to share with you guys. Like, I always wondered why the Bible only mentioned man, like, you know, and man this and man that, as if, you know, woman didn't exist. I'm like, well, God, you created both of us. Like, so what's up with that? Why you don't never say the woman, other than when he talked to the woman after the serpent, you know, situation in the Garden of Eden? That was about the only time I ever recall reading, unless we were talking about Deborah, the woman, right? Or they mentioned a woman at the well or whatever, but God speaking directly, God would always say man. And so, you know, through my studies, reading these different books and stuff, I learned that when the Bible originally in Hebrew, when it speaks of man, it's really speaking to human, because God made us an image of himself. And so it's humus for human, and it covers both man and woman. And I got all the details of how all that breaks down in Hebrew and stuff in my notes. But I was amazed because I'm like, okay, God, you are awesome, because I knew it had to be a reason why I never saw both, because humus is not gender specific, because we're spirit. So we are all born of a spirit. We live in a body. Whole nother conversation, right? And so because we're spirit, you know, we're not gender specific. Your spirit is not gender specific. So, you know, that's why you always hear, oh, there's no, there's just an angel. It's not, you know, unless God gave the angel a name, like Gabriel has a name, right? And so, but there's no gender with us. And so, because we're spirit. And so, yes, as mankind, we're human. And so, just learning these different things and enlightening myself and being able to have more aha moments is mind, body, and soul. So if you haven't read my book, I talk about your mind, body, and soul. It's important for us to have some self-love and some balance. And if you don't have none on your agenda, you snoozing on yourself. You are totally not giving yourself what you need to function. That's why you're dragging every day. That's why you still don't have any energy. That's why you take all this stuff and drink all this stuff and you're trying to get some energy and you still don't have any, because you are depleted, mind, body, and soul. So you got to fill your mind with some thoughts that are lovely and of good rapport. And that comes from what you're reading, what you're listening to, right? What you hear, the conversations you're having, who you're having them with. So you need to check your posts on your circle again, or who you're having these conversations with. Because if you're just talking about the Housewives of Atlanta or whoever, which I don't even know if any of the seasons are current at this point. Hey, Tremonica. But if your chatter is about nonsense and is not about pouring into somebody else and filling somebody else's cup and doing more for somebody than you're expecting back in return, because you know God will give you back in return. Mind you, when I had lunch on the patio Saturday, oh my God, I was so shocked that I got back the receipt that said 1 John, what was the scripture? 1 John 4. I'm going to scoot over and grab it because I got it right here. Yes, 4, 7, and 8. And he wrote on there, God is love. And I just say he because I think the young lady said it was a man who paid for it, but I don't know. She just told me at the table, and you know, she was talking through her mask, so I really couldn't understand what she said. But God does allow us to be blessed like this, right? He still feels us. He still this encouraged me that God is in control. God is still real. He still has his people out there, right? And that he loves me because this stranger reminded me that God is love. And if God is love, what are we supposed to be doing if we're made in his image? Now, not to say that it's easy to love everybody, because it's not. That's why we got to lean and depend on him. And that's why you got to get up early so that you can meditate and pray and get yourself right. Because if you get yourself right, then we can work with those, uncomfortable situations, and we can pray through them. If nothing else, we can be kind, right? Which stems from your love because you're being kind. So, we can't get anything if we pour salt on an open wound. So you got to learn to work with what you got. Now, not to say that you don't need to do what I did at a time where I was in a situation where I needed to document everything that was going on. I documented, but verbally and in person, I was kind. It killed me because I had to walk out and, you turn your back and you roll your eyes because you got to sigh of relief to get out the presence of the person. I get it. But over time, after just doing it, it just didn't bother me anymore, right? Because I was being obedient to what I needed to do, and God just fixed it in here, and it just didn't even bother me. And so you got to get to that point where whatever is bothering you, it doesn't have to. All we got to do is lean and depend and renew our thoughts. And how do we do that? Prayer, meditation, educating yourself with something different. I've been reading a lot of Miles Monroe, been introduced to Dr. Wayne Dyer. Been reading some more of Les Brown. Les Brown introduced me to a couple of other people through some of his stuff that I was listening to, and reading. So I bought some other books, some people I haven't heard of before, just to fulfill myself, fill my own cup, so that I can not pour out of emptiness. I can pour out of a place of love and concern. So none of this was on. I don't even have a script. Like, I'm straight just talking from the cuff. And so therefore, that this is for somebody on this call, somebody that's on this live right now. This is for you. So I am just being obedient. I knew I was supposed to go live. I was like, well, Lord, I don't have a script. And sometimes you don't need a script. You just go off script because he's going to give you the words. Like Moses was worried about stuttering, and he gave him Aaron who could speak eloquently. You know, God will always prepare you. Hey, Tracy. God will always prepare you for what he has in store for you. So don't be intimidated. This is one last thought by the messenger. Okay. I spoke last week, and it kind of threw me off. Thank you, Bree. It kind of threw me off last week after I spoke because I was the middle speaker. And when I sat down to listen to the speaker after me, it threw me off a little bit because, you know, we were all powerful women of God in our own right. But it threw me off a little bit to hear her say that she had to pray, well, now, Lord, how am I going to go behind her? And I was like, wow, right? Like, I wasn't in it to, you know, shine like that or stage up or anything like that. I was just doing my one part. And so I hated that she felt that way. And I hope she didn't miss the message because she felt that way. But a lot of us, you know, we look at the messenger. God can use and has used anybody. He can use anybody. You know, I had a homeless man on the streets of Chicago tell me one time I was getting some fish real late for me and Mom. And it was after dark or whatever. And he gonna tell me, go on and get your little green so-and-so in the car before you get snatched up out here. And I looked, I didn't even see the man. Like, I called myself and checked my peripheral. I'm good. I'm walking to the car. He told me, you better hurry up and get your little so-and-so in the car. It remind me of my little sister with your green so-and-so. I could not but laugh. Like, what? Where did you come from? Like, let me get in the car, you know. But he had a message, you know. He was telling me I wasn't as careful as I thought I was. And so I heard him from that perspective. And so I didn't judge him, right? I was like, ooh, that man. And so now I don't go out like that. Because I can't, I don't know how to check the scene like that. I'm not that in. So I don't do that, right? But we get so caught up in outer appearance. They don't know how hard I work these last few months trying to lose 22 pounds. Because I ain't taking nothing. I ain't drinking nothing. I just changed my diet and got off my chair and started moving. And I purposely didn't want to take anything or do anything because I didn't want to get caught up in something and then it doesn't last, right? Because, you know, who don't want to pay for some whatever is me. And so I figured, you know, it wasn't easy it was easy to add on, but it's not going to be easy to take off. So therefore it'll be worth it. So little by little, just the Bible talks about wealth coming to us little by little, meaning that we need to save, right? And be more mindful of our spending, which is a whole nother conversation. But that same scripture is true for anything that we do. You know, if we're going to actually be healthier, which involves losing weight and getting to a healthy status within ourselves, it's going to have to come little by little to last and become a habit. Because if you do things fly by night, it doesn't last, you know. So I don't crave what I used to love eating. You know, I just don't. I don't crave it anymore. I'll eat it, but it's not something I just crave. And so I'm more now eating to live versus living to eat. Complete mind shift. And if I can do that, you can do that too. So don't get caught up because we don't know what people been through. We don't know what they've been dealing with. The last time I dropped this kind of weight, I had been through hell and high water. And nobody knew it. They just, oh, I see you all looking good. You're skinny and stuff, you know, and all the other little comments that come along with that. So, but we don't know what people be going through. So, you know, let's not judge one another, right? let's be kind. Let's love each other and treat each other as we want to be treated. And if we all remember that, maybe the other people that don't normally do that, maybe they'll start doing it if we do it more. If we're more intentional about doing it, maybe the people that don't do it or are not even intentionally thinking about it, maybe it'll catch on like a wildfire, kind of like these fires going on in California. So, yeah. So I just want to kind of reconnect with y'all. I haven't lost touch with you. I tried to do a mid-year event with people who had come to my workshop earlier this year. I tried to do it through Zoom, tried to do it through a group, and we weren't connected. I know people had a lot going on. There's a lot more busyness because of us all being home or trying to figure out home. So I just didn't overstress over. I did a video just for those persons who came to the workshop and hoping to encourage them to stay focused on their goals. And that's really the whole purpose of mid-year workshops. So what I'm going to do next or going forward, I have no idea. I do know I'll probably log in for another Mindful Monday because I want you guys to be mindful that everything we do matters. Everything we do matters. Everything we say, whatever we do, it just matters, right? Every moment needs to be cherished because you can't get it back. It's gone. Once it passes, it's gone. And, you can only recoup so much. But I can tell you, God is still working miracles through this pandemic. He's just waiting on you to answer his call. So, are you going to answer? What you going to do? How you going to respond? Are you ready? If you're not ready, you need to get ready because he has work for you and me to do. So, again, just wanted to log on to encourage you guys. I haven't talked to you in forever. Thank you for the love that you guys have been sharing on during this live. Tremonica Brown is on here, and I told her we were probably cousins when I met her about a month ago, maybe 2. She has been very adamant in her calling. I got you, Bree. She's been adamant on her calling to to answer her calling to lead people into this civil rights, social justice move. And I applaud her for that. I applauded her when I met her. I'm applauding her openly now. She's the reason why I went to a lot of the protests. She's a fellow teacher. She cares. She's pouring out love to the community, and the community is responding back. So her passion stemmed from she did not want this to be her son that went through all these things that are going on. So find your passion, because when you find your passion, what you actually care about, there lies your purpose. And in that, you can please God, and he will say, well done, when is your season? Or when is your season end? Because we all do have to come to an end, whether we want to embrace it or not. We got a little dash. It's just a tiny little dash, right? It's not even that big when they write it out. It's just a little tiny thing. And that represents your whole entire life. What do you want people to remember? Talk about that too in the book. So if you haven't gotten your copy, or if you haven't worked through the questions, because a lot of people got the copy, started on it, but haven't worked through the questions, you need to work through those questions because they're going to help you. And if they're a little deep, let's talk about it. That's where this part comes in at. So I've held you for an hour. Was totally not me. All the Spirit, I give it to him because obviously he had a light he wanted me to shine. So I hope I have done my job to awaken you and to get you to answering the phone. Because Bree says she on the phone right now. She hollering at him like, okay, Lord, what's up? What you need me to do? Because those are the kind of conversations I have with our Father, because he is just that to me. He keeps me. He sustains me. He covers me. He protects me. The list goes on. and on. He gives me favor. He gives me grace. And it is sufficient. It is sufficient. I had a thing happen yesterday after I had a whole great day and somewhat mild year because I've been in the house, and I couldn't do nothing but laugh. I couldn't get mad. I couldn't trip. I was like, thank God it wasn't worse than what it was, right? But all is good and all is well, and God is good, and I love you all, and I thank you for chiming in and letting me use my gifts to pour into you and encourage you, to lift you, to help you to see that there is more to you than people know or realize, that you even realize within yourself, because I never saw myself doing this, right? Until I had a dream. God gave me a dream, or I call it a vision, of me being on a stage presenting to, an auditorium full of people, which has not yet happened. I've been on a stage, but the auditorium wasn't full. And while I was on the stage, he dropped it in my spirit to remind me of that vision, right? And I couldn't do nothing but pause, and I smiled, and I went on with the presentation. So I don't know what's to come. I'm just being obedient and walking in it. So whatever you're going through, whatever you've been through, know that this too shall pass. Joy really does come in the morning, but you got to shift this thing. This thing up here is the most powerful machine that ever existed. And the crazy part about it is the best engineer ever, our Father, created it. So therefore, only He, because He created this thing, can help you navigate this thing. And until you take these thoughts captive, right? Until you learn how to control, hey Brenda, your own thoughts, quiet your mind through meditation and yoga and prayer, you won't hear Him speak to you until you start exercising and being out in nature, listening to the birds, listening to the buzzing of the different insects and stuff, because I don't want them on me. I just want to hear where they are. Watching the green grass grow and the beautiful plants and just the multitude of beauty that God just created. And then looking at the people and the different looks and sizes and faces and shapes and form of the people, and hear their conversations and just look at the bustling of them and just looking at life from a quiet perspective. Until then, you'll keep doing what you're doing. You got to make some time for yourself. If you don't, you won't ever change. Change only happens if you do something. What you gonna do? Make it happen, y'all. So this has been your girl, Regina Lynette Brown of RLB Consulting Services, encouraging you as I encourage myself. You're welcome to play this back. You're welcome to share this. And you're welcome to join me again for another conversation where we're enlightening one another. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Nicole, for your comments. Sometimes Nicole is mentioning listening. Sometimes we don't listen because the enemy is distracting you from listening. So sometimes we just can't hear. It's not that you're not listening. You just can't absorb it because there's a distraction. It's almost like a thing is over your ear. The monkeys. It's like your hands are over your ear and you can't really, you hear it, but you can't really receive the word that's being spoken to you. You got to pray that away. We all go through those moments. So be mindful of that. If that's you, you need to take some inventory. Start journaling, right? I have about 2 journals going. And, start journaling. Find, there's something, God tells me something in every scripture that I read. And all these books that I'm reading, God tells me something. He shows me something. Everything I listen to, I listen to YouTube videos when I'm walking. I'm pouring into me. You got to pour into you. And if you don't, you won't hear it. It has to be repetitive. You know, I don't know about you, but now every time I'm listening to the TV, or I have the TV on, rather, even on YouTube sometimes, I hear the word level up. And I laugh about it because when that title first dropped into my mind, I hadn't really heard it. I hadn't heard it mentioned. I didn't hear Sierra's song. I didn't hear nothing. Now I hear it all the time. It's called an awareness, awakening. So I'm awake now. I want you to be awake as well. So again, I'm going to close. Be blessed and highly favored. I pray that you are covered in the blood and that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and nothing will come upon you that God can't fix, that God can't handle. Learn to trust and believe, and it will all work out in your favor. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great evening. I love you to the moon and back, and hope to talk to you guys soon. Take care.